Wonder Woman issue 9. Greg Rucka and Liam Sharp were back in present day, of
Yep.
course. And again, this was very much kind of like Detective, even though it's not the end of this arc. It's
Yeah.
like Detective in that it's a Fallout issue. Like they're back, back in the US or
Back from
whatever.
Africa. They
Yeah,
they got Urs Katanga in
who's
a potted plant.
yeah. That made me think of Baby Groot for whatever reason. I was just
Yeah,
thinking that
me too.
this demon god or
Well,
whatever.
and I love the lady in charge is like, oh, that's all he is. And one of the guys, I think it was Trevor's, like, well, science is not everything. I just thought that was a funny little back and forth.
Uh, dear. Yeah, that was all good stuff. Obviously, the art's gorgeous from Sharp again. It has been the entire issue, but I really want to point out that when Wonder Woman and Steve go on a date, as it were,
Yep,
to the beach, every single panel with that glowing light and the yellow sunset and everything
yep.
about it, everything.
Like that, the colorist. You have the book in front of you, I imagine, because
Yes.
I don't. That colorist we should mention because that entire
Oh,
scene.
I need to
You
swipe
know,
back to the start.
there you go, there you go.
I need to swipe.
I'll vamp for a minute, but oh man,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, keep talking, keep
so good.
talking.
I'll say, but yeah, it's all wash and pinks and oranges, and you just feel like it is an actual sunset, not something that was drawn. And that's the combination of Sharp's art and the inker and the colorist all doing what they should be doing at the highest level. So, and it's the emotion in that moment also is just Rucka because so much as he leaves to the artist there because the sentences are really short and you can just read it all in Sharp's body language.
Yeah, yeah.
Like at first it starts awkward and then you know
It doesn't. Yeah, I like how it lets the art do a lot of the talking. And by the way, the
yeah
title page for this is like a third into the book. That was a really awkward one to find.
yeah, that's
Um,
all right.
but yeah, the colorist is Laura Martin.
Okay.
There you
Yeah,
go.
just that scene alone. I mean, even some of the other scenes, it really pops. So that one is the shining star, if you will, of the issue. But I like what Diana said about love. Like she's good at love, but not great at romance.
Hmm.
And that speaks to her compassion. And we'll talk more on this in the next thing when we get to the 75th thing. But they really are doubling down on her compassion for all life.
Yeah, no,
And
I like that they're doing that. I also, I love the scene here where she's at the mall with
yep,
Minerva because she's like human again. She's back to
yep,
some semblance of normality, and she's like they're getting her clothes because she doesn't have any. And
yeah,
Diana says because there's like a crowd forming outside because they've obviously all
yep.
heard that Wonder Woman is there. Like
Mall.
she willingly goes outside to like meet and greet and like make an appearance because she feels like she should. And the other
Yep.
characters even talking about that, which that's a great double page spread, which happens to be the title page. May I add?
Yeah.
Where you, like, and I like that the way the wide shot works is it actually gives you the sense of scale because they just leave her like really small at the side of
hmm
the image. So no,
And there's also if you read the different signs at the stores, like the names of the stores are all like named after people that have worked on Wonder Woman. Like there's Chang's, and then there's an Azarello,
ball
a
up.
Perez.
Yeah,
So I thought that I always like when artists work that type of stuff in. It's fun,
that's a nice
and
touch.
yeah. But just that whole scene, and then when Barbara Ann comes out, and she's just dressed like her old self,
Hmm.
and Diana's like, "You could have gotten anything." She goes, "Yeah, but this is what I'm comfortable in, so let's go." And we get kind of a resolution of where Themyscira is, and
Well, kind of.
yeah,
They skip a bit of information here, which I assume we'll get next time or
yep,
whenever.
yep,
Because Minerva tries to help her, and she gives all this spiel about how it's not a literal place; it's kind of in a different realm or whatever. And uh,
yeah,
as she's explaining it, we get these wonderful like cuts ahead to Wonder Woman suiting up and Steve and both of them going to Themyscira,
yeah,
and it ends with her getting there and seeing her mother. Uh,
right.
but the actual information of how they actually find it is not there. Like that's skipped over. So I assume that will be that's something we get to.
Yeah, they built to it by her saying like it's a physical place, but it's also a spiritual place. So it's tied to an emotional feeling, right? That's what she said. Like, because she has to be allowed to be let in, right? But if that's the case, then how did Steve get there? So, because he had to be allowed in too, and that's why I'm wondering if that's why he went back
Yeah.
with her,
I mean,
not just to offer the moral support, but he's a piece of her being allowed back in.
yeah, actually, there's a line here that I missed before. Now that I'm looking at it,
Ah,
it says, "I
yeah,
think I know of such a place," which would actually be a reference to the last issue, which was the Minerva issue.
yep,
So,
yep,
because she mentions they need to go to a physical place where the barrier is at its weakest, and
yep.
because that's where she kind of got there, but not really.
Hmm.
Uh, in the last issue, that kind of makes sense actually. And
Yeah,
yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe her bringing Steve is because now that she's at this emotional, like this better emotional place,
yeah,
because her and Steve have kind of patched things up, and because
yeah.
she does have Minerva back and she's not cheating anymore. Maybe all these things are contributing to the fact that she's not as broken, I guess is the
Yeah,
word.
she's not as yeah. That's exactly what I would use. Is her emotional state after everything, like because we even get see. So the problem with reading the 75th and this back to back is I think they mentioned in this one that she was Aries or a form of Aries, and that the gods work differently than we think. So they're touching on the stuff that Azarello and Chang had done, but that experience has kind of left her, like Pete said, broken, and now she's finally picking up the pieces, so and reassembling them.
Yeah, yeah. So we also find out that these villains that were teased before with
Uh,
the orb thing,
yeah,
we get a quick glimpse of them as well, and we know that one of them was planted where Steve sort of came at head office, the commander and
yeah,
stuff, because they know about the plotted plant that's got the
yep.
Urska
There's
target in it.
Katanga. Yeah.
And just a bit of that's just kind of bubbling in the background. Like these people are working
Well,
behind the scenes.
well, it's Veronica Cale who was huge in Rucka's first run on the character, and I mean that's basically her like Lex Luthor. So, and I don't mean that just because of businesses and whatnot, but she's kind of representative of everything that Wonder Woman's not. So I think that's interesting that that got put there because we've taken Cheetah off the villain board, now that they're allies. So I'm wondering if this is building to an even bigger, you know.
Yeah, but obviously now Minerva seems like she's going to be a supporting character now for
Well, that's what I mean. That
yeah
she's an ally now. That's
yeah
not a villain. So that leaves who's the villain? Because when this first opened, we kind of thought it was going to be Cheetah, you know. But in the events that have led up to it, and I'm glad because I like that character. Like Rucka has made me really like Barbara Ann, especially in that last issue that focused on her. But even through all the Cheetah stuff, so it was good once Veronica Cale showed up, and it's another character that I read in 52 that I had no idea who she was, but she was on the Evil Scientist Island, working on all that stuff. So it's good to see her again.
yeah. So obviously we get back at Themyscira at the end, and it leads me to think that the next issue of the Lies will be Diana confronting her mother about
Yep.
you know inaccuracies, things that don't add up,
Yep.
uh, and who knows what we'll get from that. So.
Yep.